and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about tracking your calories, tracking your food, and losing weight. Do you have to track your calories? Do you have to keep track of what you're eating? Is that important for losing weight? I get this question all the time. As somebody who has been on both sides of the spectrum, I have been a flaming, huge, ginormous, big, gigantic, all of that weight loss failure. And as somebody who has succeeded wildly at losing weight, going from probably one of the unfittest people that I know, to being one of the fittest, going from a size 22 to a size 2, and learning a lot about food. Because here's the deal. Most of us have heard this saying, you can never outwork a bad diet. So we're going to actually talk about what that means, because I have tested it. I'm kind of hard-headed sometimes. So sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, well, let me try. Let me try. Let me just try it out and see. I totally have tried this one out. I tried to prove it wrong. I'm going to tell you the results of that in just a second. So if you are new here, or even if you've been around, because I know a lot of you guys that do watch the videos have not hit the subscribe button yet, please make sure to do that. Hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you join our growing community here on YouTube. Ring the bell. That way you do get alerted when we upload any fit tips, any weight loss tips, some of our healthy recipes. Have you seen that we actually uploaded? Oh my goodness. It is a pumpkin cheesecake. If you like pumpkin and you like cheesecake, it is a pumpkin cream cheese muffin. These things are so good that I never make less than a double batch when I make them, and they still don't last more than a couple days in my house. My husband, I don't think, is capable of eating less than 2 at a time. He always gets one. It is the funniest thing. He always gets one. He's like, oh my gosh, these are so good. And then he goes back and typically gets 1 or 2 more. It is the funniest thing. I will link that below in the description box just to make it easier so you don't have to go back and search for it and all of that. But anyway, if you want some healthy recipes like that, make sure, or delicious recipes like that, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so that you don't miss them. And if at all during the video you hear anything that you're like, yeah, that's pretty good, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, smash the like button, takes a couple seconds of your time, helps the channel out enormously, immensely, all that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So today, we are going to be chatting about tracking your calories for weight loss, okay? I'm going to go ahead and make a blanket statement right here at the beginning of the video. If you're not tracking your calories, you're overeating. That's just a really safe statement to make for 99% of us. And let me just go ahead, since we're on the blanket statements and me speaking in absolutes, let me go ahead and throw this one out there too. If you are overweight at all, it means you are overeating. Period. For 99.9% of us. I used to want to believe that I was overweight because of bad genetics, that I was overweight because maybe a thyroid issue. I was overweight because I was eating all my food in one meal instead of spreading it out through the day. I was overweight because I wasn't a breakfast eater. I was overweight because, I just didn't work out. I had a lot of them, reasons why I thought I was overweight. But the biggest contributing factor to anybody's weight issue is shoveling too much food into our pie holes. Biggest contributing factor to being overweight, okay? Let me just break this down for 1 second. I don't want to assume because you're watching this video that you know this, because I did not know this. I had never heard anybody break it down this way before. And so before we jump in, I want to go ahead and break this down. So in case you're coming from a place where I was, where you don't know, you will after this. So food is energy, okay? So our body burns energy just by existing. By sitting here right now, my hair is growing, my body's doing all the things that it does. My organs are working. Your body burns calories. Then we move throughout the day. You're momming, you're parenting, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're working. You're, even if you're a couch potato, you are moving your finger to change the remote. You are getting up to go pee. You are getting up, whatever it is, you're burning calories, all right? So we have the amount of calories that we use in a day. When we eat, the amount of energy, calories, whatever you want to call it. So our body uses the calories, we turn calories into energy, and that is what we use. When we eat, we are putting energy into our body. When we give our body too much energy, too much food, more than what we're burning, our body turns that excess energy into, aka food, into fat. And our body stores it all throughout our body as fat. So I wound up at 288 pounds, morbidly obese, by eating way more food than what my body was using. So my body took that excess food, those excess calories, that excess energy, it turned it into fat, and I stored that on my body. That's how I wound up with, 161 pounds of extra fat that I lost. The craziest thing, I lost more than what I currently weigh. All right, so the simplest thing about weight loss is being in a calorie deficit. If you want to lose weight, you have to burn more than what you're eating. Burn more than what you're eating. The bigger the calorie deficit, the faster you lose weight. It takes 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound, which means you have to be in a deficit of that cumulative to lose a pound. Okay? That was trying to be a very simple way of putting a super long, complex, scientific, whatever. That was my version for you. I've literally watched hours. When I started getting into this like whole weight loss stuff and this like, like after I lost the weight and during I don't know, I just started geeking out and watching like all these videos and reading all this stuff because I'm like, where does the fat go? I lost 161 pounds. It's not where does it go? How does it leave my body? How does that happen? My brain could just not, I would look at pictures and I'm like, but where did it all go? Anyway, so I started going to Google. If someone actually got a hold of my Google search terms during that time, that would be hilarious to see that. All right. So here's the deal. I used to be one of those people that I was overweight, but I believed that I ate pretty healthy. I believed that I knew what serving sizes were. And I remember my husband, who has a nursing background, he used to be a registered nurse before he became an entrepreneur. He worked as an oncology nurse. So when you're going to school to be a registered nurse, you have to go through nutrition training, and that's a part of their training when they're in nursing school. And I remember he used to say, Carmen, he used to make comments to me that basically I interpreted as, you're nutritionally retarded. And so I just started referring to myself as, look, I'm just nutritionally retarded because I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. But I really was. I had no idea. If somebody said to me, do you eat like a 300-pound woman? I would have been like, well, no, I don't. I don't know why I'm so overweight. I just must have bad genetics because I eat pretty healthy. And I not only would have said it, but I believed it. But when I started losing weight and I started tracking what I was eating, I was so embarrassed that I ever had those things come out of my mouth because it became very apparent to me very quickly why I was 288 pounds, why I was morbidly obese, and why I had been struggling and failing to lose weight. Because I really had no idea what a serving size of cheese was. I had no idea how many extra calories the butter added to, all of my dishes, because I never ate any vegetables without butter or oil or any of that stuff. How you can take a salad and how little one serving of salad dressing really is on a giant salad. The first time I measured my cheese on my salad, I was like, this is retarded. Why am I even putting cheese in here? Because I cannot taste it. It was so little. I was using 3 and 4 servings of cheese on a salad. I was using several servings of salad dressing on a salad. And so for me, I was eating a salad because I thought it was healthy. By the time I was done with my cheese and my dressing, a burger was the same amount of calories as my salad. Well, I might as well freaking eat the burger because I was eating the salad to try to be healthy. So my point is, when I started tracking my nutrition, it told me why I was overweight. And listen, there's two skills when it comes to losing weight. There's the skill of losing the weight and the skill of maintaining the weight you lost. Most people end up doing extreme fad diets, and they totally change the way they're eating. They totally change. They cut this out. They cut that out. And then when they get done losing the weight, they go gain it back because they weren't doing something sustainable. Versus just start tracking your food. When you start tracking your food, it's going to do a couple different things. It's going to let you know how much you're eating. It's probably going to let you know why you have a weight issue if you have one. Or maybe why you're deficient in some area of whatever it is. Because when you track it, it actually tells you where, if you're getting all your vitamins and minerals and all this stuff. A lot of cravings come from deficiencies. A lot of cravings come from a lack of something we're getting. So our body produces a craving to overcompensate for that in some cases. Second thing it's going to do, so it's going to help you realize why you are where you're at with your health. Second thing is it's going to start training your brain and your mind and reprogramming it for success. So what I used to think a serving is much different than what I know a serving is now. It's going to start, like when I was creating recipes and I was tracking, like I would be sitting there with my little app, MyFitnessPal. It's a free app. You can go download it today. It's free. I actually did a video where I talk about how to set up MyFitnessPal for success when it comes to all of that. Anyway, maybe I'll link that below with the pumpkin recipe. So I would enter all my food in, and there'd be times when I was creating a recipe and I would enter it into MyFitnessPal and I was like, oh, those potatoes are how many calories? So then I would be like, okay, well, if I take out the cheese, then how much? If I cook my broccoli, because I would always hear vegetables are healthy. Well, not the way I cooked them. Well, so all of a sudden I started learning. How do I eat vegetables? How do I make vegetables good without all the butter? How do I make vegetables low calorie but delicious? And so I started doing all these little things. I started learning how to eat delicious foods, fill myself up, not make myself feel deprived, and cut the calories. When you track your calories, it forces you to make better decisions. And psychologically, when you're aware of something, you just make better decisions anyway. All of a sudden, when I have a full tank of gas, I am not aware of how fast I'm accelerating, how many people I'm passing. But all of a sudden, you let my gas light go ding, 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 ding. You have 30 miles left till empty, and I don't see a gas station in sight. Now I am all of a sudden aware of how fast I'm accelerating. I'm all of a sudden aware of how many people I'm passing because I have a gas, it's being tracked. And I'm like, my gas light's on. I better drive responsibly. I better set my cruise control because I need to conserve my gas. Prior to that, I'm like, oh, this freaking semi, whoa, get around the guy. It's the same thing with your calories. When you start tracking and you're only supposed to be eating, and let me say with tracking, I have never gone below 1,200 calories. That's the floor on which I think you should do healthy weight loss. You don't have to eat below 1,200 calories to lose an incredible amount of weight. I lost my first 100 pounds in 202 days, never eating lower than 1,200 calories, okay? And that's just so you don't jack up your metabolism, you don't like lose all your hair, you still getting all your vitamins and minerals and all that. You can have healthy weight loss on 1,200 calories a day. You don't have to go below that. So I'm entering in my stuff, right? Like there were days in the very beginning, like I would be at 1,000 calories by 1 o'clock and I still had the rest of the day to go. And it was like, okay, like I just ate 1,000 calories and I still have the rest of the day. Like I'm going to be drinking water and eating rice cakes, or I can eat 4 cups of broccoli for 200. No, I can eat a lot of cups of broccoli. Never mind. Because broccoli is like, anyway, my point is like, I had to start changing some of those things when I started tracking. It forced me to have accountability. When you're not tracking, at least for me personally, I was in this place of, I don't know why I'm overweight. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. When you start tracking, it's going to teach you. It's going to show you if you're not losing weight and you're stuck, why? It's going to show you what portions. There's nothing bad. that comes from tracking your nutrition. Nothing. And if you are not losing weight, listen, the number one, when one of my clients gets stuck and they're not losing weight, the first conversation we have is, are you tracking your nutrition? That is the very first like sign of someone not losing weight is they're overeating. And most people don't even know. And when I say track, I mean track. I mean your vitamins, any oil, anything that goes in a pan besides water. Water is the only free food. The only free food. Everything else has calories. Most vitamins have calories. Oil you cook with, calories. It doesn't just get absorbed in the air. It gets absorbed into your food. Butter, every single thing. Some seasonings, you know, that little Trader Joe's everything bagel seasoning has 5 or 10 calories for a quarter of a teaspoon. One of my girlfriends was here and I watched her use half a bottle inside of a couple days. And I was like, wow. All of a sudden I just thought, and she wasn't trying to lose weight, but I thought, man, if someone was trying to lose weight and they were thinking this seasoning was a good thing, like they could be eating who knows how much sodium, plus how many calories did she just eat inside of that bottle of everything, whatever bagel seasoning. And I get it, it's delicious. I like it too. But if I'm trying to lose weight, I got to account for those calories. So when you're tracking, if you don't want results, don't track. But if you want results, and you want fast results, and you want to stop riding the struggle bus, and you want to start getting results now, today, you've got to start tracking. And every single thing you put in your mouth. If you're making your kids lunch and you take a pretzel off that plate and you eat it, you track one frickin' pretzel. If you lick the knife after you've made your child's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you track that peanut butter. When I started tracking all those little things, it like all of a sudden I no longer wanted to lick the knife of peanut butter because it was too much hassle to enter it into the app than it was just to say, I ain't eating it. So I started creating good habits versus just putting in my mouth whatever I wanted when I wanted. Every nibble, every lick, every bite, every whatever. If I'm making chocolate chip cookies and I took 5 chocolate chips and I put them in my mouth, I tracked it. That's how you lose 161 pounds in 13 months. That's how you lose 100 pounds in your first 200 days. You get serious. You track what you're doing. Anytime you want to get good at anything, you've got to get serious and you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to track. Listen, every professional athlete, what's the difference between a professional and an amateur? First off, professionals get paid, they make money, they get results. They have the best results. That's why like a professional athlete makes millions, an amateur athlete typically makes nothing. It costs them money. It's a hobby. They're trying to make it big. But a professional athlete, they know their stats. They know what they're doing. They know all of it because they want to be a professional. And if you want to have results like a professional, if you want to have results at all, then you've got to take this thing serious. Yeah, is tracking a pain in the butt? Sure. But would I rather have a pain in the butt and results than easy peasy eat what I want and overweight? Yeah, I'd rather have a little bit of a pain having to track and results than, yeah, whatever, easy peasy, and I'll take whatever. We only get one health, one body. And I abused mine for a long time. I used to hear people say, oh, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And I would always think, you're just not eating the right foods, dude. I can show you all kinds of good foods that taste better than skinny feels. Come with me. Spend the day together. But that was when I was used to being overweight. When I've gotten used to this life of being smaller, being healthier, having more energy, feeling better, feeling confident. You can't put a price tag on the feeling of confidence. You can't put a price tag on loving the reflection staring back at you in the mirror. You can't put a price tag on getting dressed up on date night for my husband and not having to shove myself into Spanx underneath it. You can't put a price tag on that. Start tracking. It makes a huge difference. So anyway, I will link the pumpkin cream cheese muffins in the description box. Make sure to check that out and we will see you on the next one. Bye.